Welcome to Sexy Mom Abundant Life with best-selling author and coach Kathy Williams, a show to help you tap into the support of the universe and access the abundance that's available in every area of your life. Listen in for conversations and tools to create more ease, joy, and possibility with family, relationships, business, and living. Kathy's joyful perspective will help you tap into your own wisdom and create a life of presence and abundance your way. Listen live on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, or anytime on iTunes or at IOM-FM.
Welcome to Sexy Mom Abundant Life, everyone. This is Kathy Williams, and today we're going to have a show about my favorite energy tools that I use pretty much on a daily basis. And I'm not sure who said it, but someone said that first you create your habits, and then they create you. And implementing and integrating these 7 things into my life has created a huge decrease in stress. It's calmed my nervous system so much. Increase in joy and intuition and connectedness and gratitude and feeling supported by life and recognizing synchronicity and all of that. So I'm excited to share them with you. As always, you can reach out to me at meetkathywilliams.com if you have questions about this show or show topics or ideas. Also, there is a free exercise that I get notes about, and people say, this has really changed my life. So actually, I could talk about that today. That's one of the tools that I've long used to create a different possibility beyond, the stories that we grew up with and beyond our limiting beliefs of who we are. So you can get that free exercise on the homepage at meetkathywilliams.com. Also, if you like the show, wherever you are, please subscribe, share it with your friends. Then the media gods, the social media gods, like it more. And I always appreciate that. So I'm just going to start out from the very first thing I do and then build from there in the morning. And this one is very interesting because it's a meditation, and I wake up early. I did a show about waking up and being a member of the 5 a.m. club sometime a couple of years ago, and you can search for that. But it's called, it was The Power of Waking Up Early or something like that. And I wake up early when the vibes are kind of still because everyone is not out thinking a whole bunch. They're mostly still asleep. And meditate. And before you say, oh, no, I can't meditate or, whatever, there are such different ways of meditating. And I always encourage people to choose one that resonates with their heart, that really lights you up. And this particular meditation I'm going to talk about and perhaps guide you through super briefly is a pineal meditation, a pineal gland meditation. And it's really directing, it's very active. It's not, oh, let's sit and try to clear your head. It's very energetic. So all these tools I'm going to share today have to do with changing your energy. And this is guiding and directing energy up through the pineal gland, which is essentially your third eye, which has to do with intuition, feeling connected, knowing. So knowing where to go and where not to go, having a real connection to what's true for you and what's not, and the truth of all things. And what I've found through doing this pineal meditation is a sense of ease and relaxation in life, a sense that I really am at the right place at the right time, and my asks, the things that I'm asking for, are more in harmonious flow with what the universe wants to deliver me. which is fantastic because that means my ask shows up all that much faster. What do I mean? Like I was thinking to myself last week, I would like to teach more yoga. And then my neighbor from across the street, who has this amazing house over with a infinity pool overlooking the ocean, invites me to teach yoga, private yoga lessons to her weekly on her porch, overlooking the little birds jumping in the infinity pool and rinsing themselves off. Just so exquisite. And see how exquisitely that aligned with my desire? I asked and then it was delivered. And I always considered myself a pretty good manifester. But since using this pineal meditation, things have just fallen into place again and again. So now that I've piqued your interest, what you do is sit. It's better in a seated position, even though, you could be lying down. And really connect to the channel that runs from the crown of your head to your root, to your tailbone. And really connect your energy through the pineal gland there in the head, and then down into the earth. And down, 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 miles down. And this really grounds you. And I'm going to share later in the show a grounding technique that I use more often during the day because I find it so useful for clearing energy, other people's energy. But this one is just to connect you to the earth so that you can experience this higher consciousness. So you're grounding deep into the earth as though you have sort of a line and an anchor of light down to the heart or the core of the earth. And then you feel light rising up through the earth back into your body. And then what you do is you contract the muscles associated, like if you were going to stop peeing, you pull up so your pelvic floor muscles and all of the muscles down there. Mula Bandha, and then draw energy up to the pineal gland. Okay. And then you don't stop there. So you reach up above the head, almost as though now the energy becomes cone-like. So you're reaching out, the energy widens as it goes up to the cosmos, up to, if you've ever seen this image sort of a bright light above a person, you kind of hook into the bright light that's above you, and then you draw light down back into the pineal gland. So you reach your energy from the pineal gland, then down to the root, and squeeze the root, squeeze the energy there, and then draw it back up to the pineal gland. And you do this with a breath that is fluid and smooth without being strained. So maybe a 5-count inhale and a 5-count exhale. And each time you reach the pineal gland again, you pause with your awareness there in the center of the head. And so it's very reaching up and then drawing energy from above back to the pineal gland. And then reaching down just to the root. We're not going back down into the earth. We're just reaching down back into the root and then pulling energy up from the root back to the pineal gland. So reaching your energy and awareness up above the head to the source of light, back down, pulling that light into the pineal gland, and then down to the root and back to the pineal gland. And meanwhile, you start to imagine, sense, or feel the pineal gland glowing with light, radiating light, expanding with light. So it becomes energetically bigger and expanding outward and outward to then fill your head. And then by the end of the meditation, you can relax the breathing and relax the up and down flow of the energy and just focus on that energy radiating out from your head until you're kind of engulfed in it. So it's big and broad like an egg around you. And then if you like that energy, kind of feel like my pineal gland activated now, even though we're not doing it. And then you can feel that energy radiating not only around your physical body, but also into the room and filling the room with light. In essence, filling your entire aura with light. And I do that every morning. It takes about half an hour. I shared the nutshell version, and you can certainly do it briefly, but for me, I like to do it for half an hour and just sensing the harmonious connection of me with everything. So that is one of the ways I lay the foundation of connecting to my third eye, connecting to my root. The root, as I tell my students, is the most important chakra for most people to work on. And the reason being that if you're going to build a house, if the foundation is faulty, then the entire house has disintegrity, right? It's not in integrity. And similarly, this root chakra has to do with fear or versus security, stability, you know, the ability to feel at home in the world, on the planet, a sense of belonging. And so to really purify that foundation for your life allows everything else to be built off that. Because if we have so much fear going on, we're more reactive in all the other areas of our life. So that foundation, reconnecting to squeezing the root, drawing the energy up, pineal gland, then up above the head, back to pineal gland, back to the root. Super powerful. So the pineal gland is interesting too because it secretes something called dimethyltryptamine. I think that's, I'm like, when I was about to say it, I was like, I hope I say it correctly. And that's a neurotransmitter, and there's a name for it that's considered like, it's called the molecule of God. And it's secreted more when we're born and when we die. So that's pretty interesting because it's like the link between the physical world and the spirit. And that's what the molecule of God is said to do, like link the body and the spirit in some way. Now, can we prove that? I'm not really sure we can, but it's really fascinating that it is more active, secreted more at birth and at death. So it's like a bridge between the physical and the spiritual. And I've definitely found that this practice has really created more of that bridge in my own life. In fact, even, you know, to the light beings or spirit beings or angels, if you wish, you know, such a deeper connection and awareness of their presence and their willingness to contribute. Even though I had that before, this practice has really expanded that even more. So, in fact, right before the show, I had this idea, maybe I will create a meditation that you can just download on my website of this pineal gland activation because it has been such a powerful practice in my life. So it's not there yet, but I just had this idea right before the show. So you can head to meetkathywilliams.com, and then there's a radio page. and I'll post that there when it is ready. The second thing I do is also from bed. And it's a practice that, and I'm going to backtrack for just a moment because I sometimes do this. If I wake up agitated, sad, disappointed, frustrated, whatever, I'll do this first. Okay? This is a practice that helps decrease the stress response and increase the relaxation in your nervous system. And it almost, my best explanation for it is that it decreases the trauma response. It neutralizes any memories you have that were negative. It allows them to sort of be like, oh yeah, that happened, but I'm okay now. I'm here now. I'm fine. I have my breath. I'm in my house. I'm safe. I'm not in second grade where that nun or person was yelling at me and slapped me with a ruler. I'm no longer there. And that did happen. I'm not saying it didn't, but it's okay. And so that's what the technique I do is called Oh My God points, and it's your frontal neurovasculars. So what you do is you put the pads of your fingers right above your eyes on your forehead, and then you can put your thumbs right at your temples. And you think about whatever memory it was and breathe. And I like to kind of add eye movement. So I look from the right to the left, to the right, to the left as I have whatever memory it was that I'd like to neutralize. And since I've added this practice every morning to my life, my nervous system has dramatically dropped loads of tension. It's amazing. I would just invite you to practice those Oh My God points, pads of the fingers above the eyes and then the thumbs next to the temples. The next time you're frustrated or annoyed or angry, because it's a great practice to do in the middle of the stress, right when you're having the stress, as well as other times, like I use it as the daily practice to just pick a memory that disturbed me and neutralize it. Okay, so you can use it with kids. It's amazing for when kids are frustrated or upset. If you'll hold theirs, or if they'll let you, or if you teach them to hold theirs. It takes the blood from the limbic brain or your reptilian brain and brings it back to the thinking brain so that you have more clarity and more capacity to handle whatever's going on. I know we're overdue for a break, so we're going to head to break now. But if you ever have questions about this, please write in at meetkathywilliams.com, and I can always create a video or something to help you have clarity about it. All right. Thanks so much for listening to Sexy Mom Abundant Life, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Feed your soul with waves of consciousness on OMTimes Radio. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research, and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers, and researchers, pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics, and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
Hey everyone. Thanks for listening to Sexy Mom Abundant Life. I'm so grateful you're here. As a listener, you can pop over to meetkathywilliams.com and get 20% off any item in the shop, including videos, energy pulls, even private sessions, by entering the code SMRadio. Also at meetkathywilliams.com, you can download a free Create Your Life exercise and join me for online classes and Hawaii retreats. And if you're stuck, helping you get unstuck is my specialty. I'd love to work with you one-on-one.
COVID-19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
Do you feel like your emotions are all over the place? That's normal during this abnormal time. There are a number of ways to cope. Maintain a healthy routine, get enough sleep, eat nutritious food, and exercise at least 30 minutes each day. Schedule some time to talk with a friend or family member. And remember, you can always take a few deep breaths to feel more centered.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
Welcome back to Sexy Mom Abundant Life. This is your host, Kathy Williams, and today's conversation is all about my daily routine for helping stay centered, calm, with energy tools. And these energy tools really have added so much to my life. If you missed the Pineal Gland meditation, it's not even, you could call it a meditation, but really it's like an energetic practice. I shared that in the first part of the show, super powerful. And then the oh my God points, right, which help decrease stress and are such a gift in the middle of stress, or if you want to neutralize a traumatic memory. So now we're going to move on to a energy technique I learned over a decade ago, and I used it then, and then I dropped it, and I brought it back because I realized how useful it's been for me, and that is called the zip up. And the zip up I learned from Donna Eden all that time ago, and it's really to help you change your relationship with a point of view. At least that's what I use it for. And so you find an affirmation that you would like to zip into your life, such as, I am the love I seek, or I grow happier every day, or whatever it is. And you're going to take your hands to the tip of your pubic bone, and just one hand is fine, or both. And with the fingers down and the wrist up, the palm of your hand on the low belly, you're just going to zip that affirmation all the way up to your chest and then up to your lower lip. So your hand moves up and then kind of to the lower lip and then off. And you can do that again. So you draw your hand up, and you inhale deeply and think your affirmation, and then bring your hand back down again. And you do it 3 times, okay? And you kind of make a circle around your body when you, so you bring up to the lower lip, and then out to the side and down. Right, and this zip up is done up the central meridian. So if you want to search that on, Google it, it's the central meridian in Chinese medicine. And as you trace the central meridian, you strengthen it. And it's one of the 2 energetic meridians. The other one goes up your back. It's called the governing meridian. And these 2 kind of govern your central nervous system. So the central meridian and governing meridian govern your central nervous system. And so you're bringing your hand up the front and zipping in your affirmation as you do. So you think of your affirmation as you zip up and bring your hand down. And the last time, we're doing it 3 times. The last time, you can kind of like almost tie that affirmation in as though you're like, this affirmation is here to stay. And then it's anchoring in that affirmation, because the central meridian is actually really strongly affected by your thoughts and feelings. So you've probably had some thoughts and feelings that are in contrast to this affirmation that you want to reinforce. And so as you do this zip up, it's reinforcing the positive message to your brain, to your nervous system, to your energy body as well. So the beautiful thing about zipping up is also that it keeps you from being so affected by the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of other people. And it will, so even if you didn't use an affirmation during this process, it helps kind of contain your energy like a raincoat so that other people's energy doesn't affect it as much either. So it contains your energy, and then their energy is outside, so you can think more clearly and be protected from whatever negativity is around. So that is the 3rd technique that's been super useful for me to integrate back into my life. All right, so the next ones, I said I started off, these form the foundation of my day. The next one is not so much a technique, but it's very much something that I use to shift the energy, and that is curiosity. Because I find that curiosity is a state that's, if judgment had an opposite, we could say it's curiosity. Because there's an openness to curiosity. There's an interest in curiosity. There's a sense of wonder in it. So I like to ask questions. What would it be like? What else is available? If I come to a conclusion in my head, like, I have a long day today or a hard day. I wonder what it would be like for it to be really smooth and fun. I wonder what it would take for this phone call that I'm not looking forward to go effortlessly and teach me something new. Right? What would it take for it to be beyond what I could imagine in amazing ways? One of the questions I've long started my day with is, now I'm forgetting. That's so funny. What magical adventures and delightful surprises will I have today? Okay. That's available. And even if I'm just going to the office. Well, what kind of adventure could you have along the way? Even just going to a coffee shop, what kind of adventure could you have? What kind of delightful surprises could you have while you're at the office? That's why I find that question to be so useful, because no matter what you're doing, no matter what you think your day is going to be like, there's room for delightful surprises. There's room for some magic. Right? So take the questions and make them your own. But asking questions is one of those things that shifts energy. For example, even if you're feeling some contraction in your heart, what spaciousness is available here? what bliss is available that I haven't yet tapped into? I have a YouTube video called that, something like that, because that is an experience I had one day. I was like, oh, I'm driving down the road, and there's a pretty flower, and what bliss is available that I haven't tapped into yet? And because you're pointing your attention in a particular direction, it's kind of like a flashlight. Whatever you illuminate with your attention shines brighter. A flashlight in the U.S., a torch in, England, and India, and some other places. So we're directing our attention in the direction we would like. And that's why in my small group coaching programs, I often invite people to have something I call pivot words. And that is a handful of words, 3 to 5 words of energies you would like to have more of in your life. That way, when you're in a space that you don't want to be in energetically, you can invite one of those words, one of those energies to be present. So an example of a pivot word would be nourished. Let's say you have a lot going on in your life and you're like, oh, I would like to feel more nourished in my life. Okay, so you're driving to work or to the store feeling stressed, and then immediately you remember, oh, my pivot word, nourished. What would it take to feel nourished right now? And then you realize, well, I could turn on some music that I really like. Oh, and look at those pretty grasses or pretty plants on the side of the road. Those are really nice. And the sun shining so beautifully right now, right? So it shifts our energy from whatever groove it's in into the energy that we prefer. And we all have that ability and we all have that power. Sometimes it might be a big leap, but there are, that's why there are several different pivot words that you have that to keep in your pocket. So you're like, oh, nourished, magical, masterful, joy, whatever kind of pivot word you like. And the thing is, they have to resonate with you so that you'll use them. But as we continue to ask for these energies, they show up more. As we continue to rehearse these energies, they become more of the fabric of our daily life. Because if we've rehearsed frustration for 50 years, frustration becomes a default. If we've rehearsed disappointment over and over and over and over, it's going to take some rehearsing of joy. It's going to take some rehearsing of, oh no, magic is available at all times. And so you go back to your pivot word again and again and again. And people, I've had clients put them on a Post-it note or create a reminder in their phone to remember the pivot word and make it a pattern. Because the more you make that energy a habit, the more it grows and expands in your life. There's a power in that. So find 4 or 5 energies, or even 3 energies that you would really like to have more of in your life, and continue to tap into those energies and remind yourself of those energies. And if you need help, I'm here for you with that. And I have small groups of women. It's amazing how the energies just expand, as you're meeting people and dancing in the energy, not dancing, but sitting together over Zoom in the energy of what people desire and the energies of that in their lives. And then you say, oh yeah, I'll have some of that too. And so it's like you're each cooking you're baking your own cake, right? You're recognizing, oh, that's available for them, and I totally want them to have that, and I can have that too, and it all expands each other's cake. It's amazing. So we have groups called Energy Mastery and Lit From Within on my website, and you're so welcome to check those out because they're super powerful, just to magnify embodying what you want in your life. All right. So the next one is, this one segues a little bit into expanding out. I talked about contraction just a moment ago, and these words can definitely help expand you. And then there's also just directly asking to expand your energy, to create an energetic shift. So right now, just notice you sense the edges of your skin. Can you sense beyond that? Into the room, or into the car, or the space you're in. And behind you too, can you expand behind you and forward? How much can you expand your awareness of the energy? Can you expand it beyond the building or the park? Can you expand it beyond the town or countryside? When we get fixated in our mind, when we get contracted, we densify, we contract it down. And this is a way, just asking to expand is a beautiful way of becoming less fixed, more open, more aware of the you beyond the physical body. And often when I want to expand, I'll ask the question, how much space can I be with this? Let's say someone's given me news that I don't like. How much space can I be with this? And take a moment to be more aware of the me beyond the physical body. That keeps me from being contracted down and frustrated and dense, and opens me up to other possibilities. All right, so as we go to break, feel free to practice some of these. See which ones really resonate with you. And we'll be back in just a moment. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. It's Kathy Williams, Public Figure. Kathy Williams, Public Figure. Also on Instagram, same, Kathy Williams, Public Figure. And reach out at meetkathywilliams.com. And we'll be back in just a moment.
The future of Internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
Hey everyone. Thanks for listening to Sexy Mom Abundant Life. I'm so grateful you're here. As a listener, you can pop over to meetkathywilliams.com and get 20% off any item in the shop, including videos, energy pulls, even private sessions, by entering the code SMRadio. Also at meetkathywilliams.com, you can download a free Create Your Life exercise and join me for online classes and Hawaii retreats. And if you're stuck, helping you get unstuck is my specialty. I'd love to work with you one-on-one.
More than 24 million Americans have an autoimmune disorder, and that number continues to grow. I'm Sharon Saylor, and I'm one of those 24 million. To put that number in perspective, cancer affects about 9 million and heart disease up to 22 million. That's why I've brought together top experts and those thriving regardless of their diagnosis to bring you the latest, most up-to-date information. Join me, Sharon Saylor, Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, for the Autoimmune Hour on Life Interrupted Radio to find out how to live your life uninterrupted.
You came across someone struggling with hunger. How would you recognize them?
Would you notice an 8-year-old girl who's not excited for
summer break because she may not be having lunch again until September?
Or a war veteran who's having a hard time landing a job
and getting back on his feet?
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Sexy Mom Abundant Life, everyone. This is Kathy Williams, and today's show is about 7 energy tools that have been super useful for me in creating less nervousness, more ease, more joy, more intuition, and possibility. And so we've gone over the pineal gland meditation and the oh my God points for nervousness, the zip up from pubic bone to your lower lip, the central meridian, and adding in an affirmation. Then curiosity and expanding out. So before we go to the next one, I just want to give a shout out to Moxie Malas. They're so cute. They are healing jewelry with different crystals that are sourced from around the world. And the bracelets are broken down into different categories, such as love, personal power, things like that, to remind you that you can be the best version of you that you would like to be. And the cool thing is, too, you can add, because they have lava stones, add an essential oil. So you can whisk that oil all throughout the day. And my favorite one is frankincense. I am a frankincense nut. So I love to just smell frankincense all day long. So that is at Moxie, Moxie, Malas, MALAS.com. All right, so that's another thing, right? Wearing things that you like is an energy tool to feel better. We're going to go to a grounding exercise now that I really love because it is a wonderful way for letting go of other people's energies you've collected through the day. So if you're a coach or a teacher or an energy healer, right, you're probably really aware that you can take on other people's stuff. And this one has been super useful for me. I almost think it is like an outhouse just kind of dumping everything down into the ground. The earth is so great at composting whatever you don't need into something new. So for this one, if you can, close your eyes. If not, it's quite all right. As you rehearse this and practice it, you'll get better at it, and you can do it anytime, anywhere, even if you're in the middle of traffic. Okay, but the first couple of times, you may like to practice it with eyes closed. And you're going to imagine, again, like a giant sun above your head, a powerful source of energy. It could be source for you. It could be your own higher self, whatever resonates. And now just breathe with that for a moment. Deep breaths, calm the nervous system, settle the energy. And now draw light from that, or draw the entire thing into your chest. Just feel the expanse of light, radiant light in your heart. And now like a long, wide, like the size of a softball or wider, even the size of a basketball, channel down into the earth, draw that light and allow it to come down through your body, clearing and cleansing everything that you don't need anymore down into the earth. And now take that, softball or basketball sized channel all the way down to the core of the earth. Down, down, down deeper than that, until it connects with the heart of the earth. And you're constantly connected with the earth, but cognitively and energetically reminding ourselves of that makes a huge difference. And continue to just release anything that you've stored in your body that you no longer need to hold on to. Just allowing it to dump down that cord. Release down that cord. Flush down that cord. And tap into any areas of your body that maybe have held tension and invite them to release whatever they've been holding downward, down into the heart of the earth. Good. And you may see this, you may sense this, you may just know it's happening. Continue to release downward. So I like to do this during a session. If a client is releasing a lot that I'm aware of, I like to definitely do it after a session, or maybe if I'm feeling unclear and rattled and a lot is going on, doing this grounding and connecting. And you can keep that center of light, the light in your heart, just radiating out. Outward, outward, outward. It's powerful. And even as you go on through your day, you still have this connection to the planet. So there's no way you have to close this exercise or anything like that. It's just like you're still connected. You can still continue to release, no matter what. Good. If you're more of a water person, I have a version of this that's more like a cosmic waterfall going through your body, and you can use any color, and again, it can just flush everything down into the earth as well. So there's the light version and the waterfall version. But those two are like go-tos for me because they can change so much. All right. So the last one, there are so many more I want to share with you as well, you know. Can we only have time for 7, but is gratitude. Because gratitude has the power to shift things so much. So one of my favorite questions is, what's the gift in this? And if you've been in my workshops, you've likely heard me tell the story at my longer workshops, tell the story of showing up in London, and I had gotten the tour bus ticket, you know, and on the tour bus, you get to go around to Buckingham Palace and all the places, and then if you haven't finished out your 24 hours, you can go the next day and finish out your 24 hours and see other things. So my kids and I were on the tour bus one day, and then we said, well, tomorrow we'll go to the Science Museum and we'll go do all these other things. But first do the tour bus. And in order to do that, I had to take the subway. That's my American word for it. And the tube, and be dropped off at a particular spot. Well, when we got to that spot, I couldn't find the tickets for the tour bus and was super disappointed, like, uh-oh, but if I can't find them, I haven't left the station yet, so we can get on a different tube and go somewhere else. And all the while I kept asking, what's the gift in this? What is the gift in this? And the thing about asking that question, right, we're looking for the gift. We're looking for gratitude, something to be grateful for. Sometimes it's really obvious right away, as in this situation, and I'll tell the rest of the story. But sometimes it's not so obvious, right? You may not know that, because I asked for the gift in this, it showed up. It showed up 3 years later, and I don't even remember, the instigating situation. But because you're asking for a gift, it will show up. And so we got back on the tube, and we just went directly to the Science Museum, and there's a tunnel. There's a tunnel that you go through. A tunnel that you go through from the tube to the Science Museum, and in that tunnel was the most exquisite music I have possibly ever heard in my life. It was just, I don't want to say that, the most exquisite street musician I had ever heard in my life. And so, looking for the gift, then you recognize there are gifts in everything, and we're so conditioned to look for what's wrong or what's off so we can fix it. And that's mostly the way we're brought up, trains us to do that. But looking for the gift in each thing also allows us to redirect to gratitude. So writing down what you're grateful for is a powerful practice. Or even when I'm in a sour mood, what I will do is thank everything around me. So right now I see books. I would thank the books. And then I see this beautiful piece of teak furniture from Bali. I thank that. And I thank the computer. And thank Zoom. And thank the phone. And thank all the things in sight. And your energy shifts pretty immediately because you recognize, wow, right in this moment, there are so many things to be thankful for. My attention wasn't there, right? It was on whatever is not going my way, whatever's frustrating. But now my attention is on thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, right? You're just thanking each thing. And then if you really go to it on a deeper level, the level of Ho'oponopono in a way, which almost no one teaches it this way, but the level of Ho'oponopono is you're seeing the divine in each of those things, right? You're seeing that this is not a piece of teak furniture. This is actually divine substance. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, listeners. I wouldn't be here without you. And thank you for your ideas for shows and your questions. And I'm going to recap each of these a little bit and then remind you to come on to my website for a free energy pull exercise. That's super amazing. So the first thing we did was the pineal gland meditation, pulling energy up through the pineal gland and connecting to the earth and to your root as well. The next thing we did was the Oh My God points, which are so powerful for just neutralizing trauma and calming the nervous system. We did the zip up on the central meridian, and we talked about curiosity and the power of that and your pivot words. So what energy would I prefer? I use nourished, but it could be I prefer connected, or what would it take for me to be connected right now or feel connected? I prefer a sense of awe. Okay, what would it take for me to have awe right now? Right. Then we did expanding out, moving from contraction to the awareness that you're actually larger than your body. And we talked about that in the show last week, expanding beyond who you think you are. That was an amazing show. You can look it up. Expanding beyond who you think you are is in the archive. And we touched on it briefly here. Then we did the grounding exercise with the light down into the earth, releasing all the things you've been carrying, but really connecting deeply to the heart of the earth. And then gratitude, thanking your triggers. You know, there are so many more I would have loved to have shared, although we only have an hour. So check out my YouTube channel. It is Kathy Williams Public Figure. And on there are a lot more tools, a lot more practices, little bite-sized tidbits, and even hour-long conversations. So, you know, you can find a practice that is directly for anger or directly for feeling scattered. I have that all there. Kathy Williams Public Figure. And also Instagram is a place I love to be with my photos of Hawaii. And there's little tidbits there as well. So thanks so much for listening to Sexy Mom, Abundant Life. You can always find me at meetkathywilliams.com and here on IOM.FM. Thanks so much. And be sure to hit subscribe wherever you're listening, wherever you see me. I would love to have your likes and subscribe. Thanks a whole bunch and have a great week. Can't wait a week. Find us in the archives. All right.